For several years now, but especially after the recent Supreme Court ruling saying that state bans on same-sex marriage are unconstitutional, we've been hearing this theme from some on the right that Christianity is under attack, that it's going to be illegal to be Christian, that pastors are going to be tried for hate crimes, and they are really piling on this one. I have two clips for you. One is from Brian Fisher at the American Family Association's radio show. The other is from Bob Vanderplaats, head of the Family Leader. If you don't remember Bob Vanderplaats, he previously said that gay marriage and abortion will end God's blessing on the United States. And he had a really simple argument against gay marriage once, saying plainly, it's awful. It's awful. What a great argument against same-sex marriage. First, to Brian Fisher, who said that soon it will be against the law for Christians to hold public office. Let's take a look.
And you may think that I'm exaggerating, that I'm hyperbolizing. I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that I am not, that this is the direction that we are headed. Unless preventive action is taken fairly soon, this is what's going to happen. And what is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, it is before long going to become illegal for Christians to hold public office. I repeat myself, the day is coming when it will be against the law for Christians to hold public office. It will be against the law for Christians even to run for public office. If someone is a Christian and someone holds to biblical values on the issue of sexuality and marriage, he will be disqualified from public service. He will not be allowed to throw his hat into the ring. He will not be allowed to put his name on a ballot. He will not be allowed to serve in any kind of appointed capacity in government.
How could anyone ban a Christian from holding public office if their religion wasn't part of their campaign, which would be the ideal scenario? We just wouldn't know the religion of our elected officials. It wouldn't be a factor. And it would be impossible for banning someone for their religion, not to mention, Lewis, that the Constitution, which these guys on the right claim to love, the Constitution prevents a religious test for office, meaning you don't get disqualified for being an atheist, but you also don't get disqualified for being a member of any particular religion. You're not required to be religious. You're not required to be non-religious. That is it. Brian Fisher, very confused, and he actually looks kind of ill. I'm wondering if this entire Supreme Court thing has really got him feeling physically sick.
Well, we know what type of person he is, and he appears to be really calm and collected when he's talking about this stuff. But perhaps it's tearing him up inside. And I mean, if he's stressed out, it can wreak havoc on your body.
Certainly. And secondly, we go to Bob Vanderplaats, who says specific Bible verses might be illegal. They might be hate crimes.
What do we as Christians need to armor up with for the next fight in this pushing God out of society and telling him he's not welcome?
Well, first of all, I would say, it's time to gird your loins. That comes right out of Scripture.
Yeah.
Because we are entering the era of when Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, when you are persecuted. He didn't say if. He said, when you are persecuted for righteousness' sake. And that's the realm we're going into right now. I mean, we see Christians overseas getting beheaded.
Oh.
But it's now coming right here to roost in our own country. And then I'd put on the spiritual armor. Put on the belt of truth. Put on the helmet of salvation. Put on the breastplate of righteousness. I mean, Ephesians tells you how to gird up, but stay in the Word, stay in prayer, and stay connected to a community of believers. Because community of believers will inspire one another on. You're stronger together than you are alone.
What's going to happen when a couple does to any church what they did to the Gertz house? What will happen in the legal system?
Well, I think what's going to happen is that you're going to see a civil rights code violation, and they're going to sue the church. For the people to believe that the churches are off ground, there's no way they'll get touched, that is absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
And Romans 1, Matthew 19, Mark 9, all that is going to be hate speech.
Lewis, how often have you girded your loins?
I usually try to once a week.
Yeah. And when you do that, do you also strap on a belt of truth?
I like a proverbial belt of truth, or you
I
mean
have
like
no, I don't know what Bob Vanderplatz meant. I mean, listen, gird your loins, spirit armor, a belt of truth, his helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness. How is this anything but completely unfettered mental illness?
it sounds like something out of some old school fantasy video game, a really cheesy one, might I add.
Yeah, I think I
It's
remember some of those items when I used to play Zelda.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. This is just it's just fear mongering. They're just trying to instill fear because they need to. They feel they need to. They feel threatened. Maybe they feel like they've been backed into a corner.
How powerful is your God if a few gay people can push him completely out of society for good? I don't get it. Doesn't sound like a very powerful God to me, but we'll see what happens, I guess, and see if I'm so curious what the next layer of fighting this is going to be from the right.